Hello and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. My name is Todd, and here are today's top stories just for you. Thank you for being with us. The the gunman who killed 21 people at a Texas elementary school was in the building for over an hour before he was killed by law enforcement officers, authorities say. It was 11:28 a.m. when Salvador Ramos Ford pickup slammed into a ditch behind the low-slung Texas school, and the driver jumped out carrying an AR-15 style rifle. 12 minutes after that, authorities say the 18-year-old Ramos was in the hallways of Robb Elementary School. Soon he entered a fourth-grade classroom, and there he killed 19 school children and 2 teachers in a still unexplained spasm of violence. Next news. President Joe Biden is set to address graduates at the United States Naval Academy Friday amid turbulence abroad with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and tragedy at home after 2 mass shootings in as many weeks. Biden's remarks to the more than 1,000 newly commissioned ensigns and second lieutenants at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland, will be his first commencement address of the year. He's also set to deliver remarks at Saturday's graduation ceremony at the University of Delaware, his alma mater. On Sunday, the president will visit Uvalde, Texas, to console grieving families after Tuesday's shooting at an elementary school that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Next news. The National Rifle Association begins its annual convention in Houston on Friday, and leaders of the powerful gun rights lobbying group are gearing up to reflect on and deflect any blame for the deadly shooting earlier this week in Uvalde, Texas. Former President Donald Trump and other leading Republicans are scheduled to address the 3-day firearms marketing and advocacy event, which is expected to draw protesters fed up with gun violence. Next news. Bipartisan groups of senators is considering how Congress should respond to the horrific shooting in Uvalde, Texas, restarting gun control talks that have broken down many times before. Aware of the difficulty of their task, the Democrats and Republicans say they hope to find agreement on legislation that could help reduce the number of mass shootings in the United States. The Uvalde shooting came 10 days after a gunman opened fire in a racist attack, killing black people at a Buffalo, New York supermarket. Senators have narrowed the discussion to a few ideas, many of them based on legislation they have been working on for years, such as expanded background checks or red flag laws that keep guns away from people who could do harm. Led by Democratic Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, the group of 10 is hoping to negotiate a proposal over the Senate's upcoming recess and have it ready for a vote at the beginning of June. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you for being with us. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said Thursday he is ashamed the United States is, in quotes, becoming desensitized to the murder of children, end quotes, and that action is needed now to prevent more lives from being lost in school shootings like the one in Uvalde, Texas. Cardona spoke at a House Education and Labor Committee hearing 2 days after a gunman armed with an AR-15 style rifle stormed into an elementary school and killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The massacre, which followed the fatal shootings of the 10 people this month at a Buffalo, New York grocery store, has revived the debate over gun control. On Thursday, the committee chairman, Republican Bobby Scott, the Democrat Virginia, opened the hearing by holding a moment of silence in memory of those who had died in Texas. Next news. Democrats' first attempt at responding to the back-to-back mass shootings in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas, failed in the Senate as Republicans blocked a domestic terrorism bill that would have opened debate on difficult questions surrounding hate crimes and gun safety. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, tried to nudge Republicans into taking up a domestic terrorism bill that had cleared the House quickly last week after mass shootings at a grocery store in Buffalo and a church in Southern California targeting people of color. He said it could become the basis for negotiation, but the Thursday vote failed along party lines, raising fresh doubts about the possibility of robust debate, let alone eventual compromise on gun safety measures. Next news. Russian forces on Friday pounded the last Ukrainian strongholds in a separatist-controlled eastern province of Ukraine, including a city where authorities said 1,500 people have been killed, and 60% of residential buildings destroyed since the start of the war. Ukraine's foreign minister warned that without a new injection of foreign weapons, Ukrainian forces would not be able to stop Russia from seizing Sieverodonetsk and nearby Lysychansk, locations that are crucial to Russia's goal of capturing all of Ukraine's industrial Donbass region. The cities are the last areas under Ukrainian control in Luhansk, one of two provinces that make up the region. Russian forces have been made slow, but persistent advances as they bombarded and sought to encircle both Lysychansk and Sieverodonetsk. Next news. Officials from the group of 7 wealthy nations announced Friday that they will aim to largely end greenhouse gas emissions from their power sectors by 2035, making it highly unlikely that those countries will burn coal for electricity beyond that date. Ministers from the G7 countries meeting in Berlin also announced a target to have a, in quotes, highly decarbonized road sector by 2030, end quotes, meaning that electric vehicles would dominate new car sales by the end of the decade. And in a move aimed at ending the recurring conflict between rich and poor nations during international climate talks, the G7 recognized for the first time the need to provide developing countries with additional financial aid to cope with the loss and damage caused by global warming. We're going to take a short break from the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thanks for being with us. According to North Korea, its fight against COVID-19 has been impressive. About 3.3 million people have been reported sick with fevers, but only 69 have died. If all are coronavirus cases, that's a fatality rate of 0.002%, something no other country, including the world's richest, has achieved against a disease that has killed more than 6 million people. The North's claims, however, are being met with widespread doubt about 2 weeks after it acknowledged its first domestic COVID-19 outbreak. Experts say the impoverished North should have suffered far greater deaths than reported because there are very few vaccines. A sizable number of undernourished people and a lack of critical care facilities and test kits to detect virus cases in large numbers. Next news. The hulking Soviet-era cargo plane has sat for decades under the blazing sun in a remote corner of the United Arab Emirates, its four-jet engines silent after years in the employ of a Russian gunrunner known as the Merchant of Death. But instead of a missile or gunfire finally taking out this Ilyushin Il-76 tied to arms smuggler Victor Bout, the plane appears to be doomed, destined for scrap, to make way for force more powerful in this federation of seven sheikdoms. Luxury, real estate. The Emirate of Al Quwain plans a $675 million in development on a island just across a lagoon from the deactivated airport where Bout's plane sits. Next news. Iraqi lawmakers on Thursday passed a bill decriminalizing normalization of ties and any relations, including business ties, with Israel. The legislation says that violation of the law is punishable with the death sentence or life imprisonment. The law was approved with 275 lawmakers voting in favor of it in the 329-seat assembly. A parliament statement said the legislation is in quotes, a true reflection of the will of the people, end quotes. Influential Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, whose party won the largest number of seats in Iraq's parliamentary elections last year, called for Iraqis to take to the streets to celebrate this great achievement. Hundreds later gathered in central Baghdad chanting anti-Israeli slogans. Next news. The World Health Organization says nearly 200 cases of monkeypox have been reported in more than 20 countries not usually known to have outbreaks of the unusual disease, but described the epidemic as containable and proposed creating a stockpile to equitably share the limited vaccines and drugs available worldwide. During a public briefing on Friday, the UN Health Agency said there are still many unanswered questions about what triggered the unprecedented outbreak of monkeypox outside of Africa. But there is no evidence that any genetic changes in the virus are responsible. In quotes. The first sequencing of the virus shows that the strain is not different from the strains we can find in the endemic countries, and this outbreak is probably due more to a change in human behavior. End quotes, said Dr. Sylvie Briand, WHO's Director of Pandemic and Epidemic Diseases. We're going to take a short break from the Daily Global English News of Millennium News TV 24/7. We're going to be right back. Thanks. Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's the continuation of today's top stories. Thank you so much for being with us. 4 decades after the Swedish pop supergroup last performed live, excuse me, audiences can once again see ABBA on stage in an innovative digital concert where past and future collide. The show opens to the public in London on Friday, the day after a red carpet premiere attended by superfans, the celebrities, and Sweden's King Carl, XVI Gustav, and Queen Sylvia. The guests of honor were pop royalty. The 4 members of ABBA appearing in public together for the first time in years. They were in the audience, though, on stage at the specially built 3,000-seat ABBA Arena next to East London's Olympic Park were a 10-piece live backing band and a digital ABBA created using motion capture and other technology by Industrial Light and Magic, the special effects firm founded by Star Wars director George Lucas. Next news. The quiet perceptions, everyday troubles, and intermittent moments of transcendence that make up Kelly Reichardt's films have always had a rhythm apart from almost American movies. Reichardt's latest, Showing Up, which premiered Friday at the Cannes Film Festival, is no exception. But it also more directly about the compulsions and pains of making modest, handcrafted art. Michelle Williams plays a Portland, Oregon ceramics artist of little renown but quiet devotion, trying to prepare a gallery show while things like a distracted landlady, hung chow, and a injured bird intrude on her life. Next news. Klay Thompson drained the three-pointers. Draymond Green anchored the defense and even chipped in on the offensive end for a change. Stephen Curry capped off an MVP performance. The trio that led Golden State to so much success in recent years is whole again and has the Warriors in position for another title after advancing to the NBA Finals with a 120-110 victory over the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday night. In quotes. Like I've said over and over again, I'm going to keep saying it. No one has proven that they can move us off that spot, end quotes, Green said. In quotes. That's the mindset we come into this thing with. We understand what it takes to win a championship. Next news. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl dominated the first playoff battles of Alberta in 31 years. It was fitting Edmonton's dynamic duo combined to end it. McDavid scored at 5:03 of overtime, and the Oilers defeated the Calgary Flames 5-4 on Thursday night in Game 5 of the second round playoff series and advanced to the Western Conference Finals. The Edmonton captain scored his 7th goal of the postseason, beating Jacob Markstrom off a pass from Draisaitl to send the Oilers spilling over the bench in celebration. In quotes. Hard to put into words that one meant to me, in quotes, McDavid said. In quotes. The guys did a great job of hanging in there all night. Definitely wasn't our best effort, but we stuck in there. Got great performances from a bunch of different guys. Thank you for watching. This has been the daily global English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. We are with you. Please log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. That includes Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. And on TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers, now on both network broadcasting, Android and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Please, I hope you enjoy our entertainment and our latest news and views and editorials. Our Millennium TV apps, Millennium TV USA, Android, Millennium News Google, www.millenniumtv24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24. We love you. We thank you. God bless and peace on earth. Thanks.